Bladesmiths, welcome to the Forge. It's one thing to be able to make a signature blade in your signature style and design that blade. It's a fantastic skill. An entirely different skill set is making a blade of somebody else's design. So today, there will be no signature blades. You'll be making this. Adopted by the United States Marine Corps in 1942, the K-Bar fighting knife has seen action during Korea, Vietnam, Desert Shield, Desert Storm, and Iraqi freedom conflicts. Your 3-hour starts now.
So far, I'm getting clean welds, everything's sticking.
Well, Alex, he took a single stack, 4 of them, flattened them down basically into buttons, and that should give him enough steel to make his blade, I think.
So my wife smells everything she sees, anything she picks up in a store, she smells it for some reason, and I guess that carried over for me. I put my metal in the fire, and then I immediately smelled my flux.
Alex is smelling his flux to make sure it's good.
Oh, wait, is this happening?
Oh, yeah.
Stop doing that!
You got stock in flux?
No, I make my own, so I don't worry about it. I was just too curious about what it smelled like. It didn't smell like anything.
I have never made a K-bar before. It's a more modern style that I don't usually do. There's a lot of lines that have to line up perfectly, and if any angle is slightly off, everybody's going to see it.
Even though this is a shorter blade than we do a lot of times, it isn't a signature style blade. It's a blade shape that we want them to make.
And just like the military, paying attention to the details.
I am taking my time because I want to get everything right.
This is definitely out of my wheelhouse. I've never tried to do a weld like this before.
Nick is back over the press. He's got his short stack of steel there, round stack of steel.
It looks like it's sticking together.
Yeah, his burger is welding up.
It went from a Big Mac to a double cheeseburger.
I am definitely concerned that I'm going a little bit slow, but I'm just hoping to catch up in the next steps.
Bladesmiths, you have just 2 hours to finish your K-bars.
After drawing it out a few times, I decided it's forge welded enough to where I think it's stable. My perimeter welds on almost all my cubes going up the sides split. Instantly, the sweat comes on, all the pressure in the world's there. Luckily, I can think on my feet, and I start forging around my D-lamps.
You'd probably be better off to start drawing that out and grind the edge off.
Yeah.
I persevered through bladesmithing out of sheer bullheadedness. You tell me I can't walk through that door, I'll walk through that door.
Hope the heat's not getting to Dwight. Haven't seen him pull anything out of that forge in a few minutes.
I'm worried about him.
Not feeling good. I'm just very hot. I'm gonna keep driving and pushing myself. I want to finish this knife.
One of the things that you cannot experience by watching this show is the heat. You have to be as physically prepared as you are mentally, because it will drain a smith to the point of breaking.
I'm starting to get shaking in my hands and my arms, and I don't want to quit. I'm not a quitter.
This is a serious medical concern right now.
I want to finish this knife, unless I'm forced to stop. I'm not giving up.
I gotta pull you, sir. I gotta pull.
One of our bladesmiths has been pulled from competition for medical reasons.
It's not worth the physical risk.
No.
I knew she was right, but I didn't want to believe it. I am very upset. Tried my best, I just couldn't handle it.
Hey, Alex, you got a magnet there? You're the man, brother. Thank you.
Brian and Alex kind of working together a little bit. Woo! Brian needed a magnet. Alex handed it to him.
Too much of a bromance going on.
Woo! Like that.
So I've left myself with enough time to thermal cycle the blade twice before putting it in for its final ramp for its quench.
All right, so we got 2 blades quenched. I'll take it.
There's not a whole lot of time left, so I got my work cut out for me.
All right, Nick, you got 13 minutes to quench a blade here.
I'm a little bit nervous about the quench because I don't have a whole lot of time to reheat if I have to. What the hell?
And
There
Nick
we
just
go.
quenched.
Seems pretty hard.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, shut down your machines, drop your tools. The first round of competition is over. All right, Bladesmiths, in this first round of competition, we threw out the old signature blade parameter. We wanted K-bar fighting knives. We also gave you plenty of W1 steel cubes to forge weld together to make that happen. Now it's time to see how you did. Although Dwight did not complete a blade, one of you still could be going home if you failed to meet parameters. Nick, you're up first. Please present your work to the judges.
The first thing I see is the profile. Kind of has that football shape. You had a steel football out there for a while. You managed to push that down, which is great. There are seams here. Hopefully you'll be able to grind them out. None of them look like cracks. I'd love to see you get these lines parallel to one another and then really develop that clip, really develop the point on that blade to get this to be a K-bar.
Now, your blade. At least we can see a formation of what could be a K-bar. There's some issues here that you have to fix. We know you've got the skill to do that.
Brian, you're up. Please present your work to the judges.
All right, Brian, I really like the technique you used for forging these together. It was a risky technique, but you actually pulled it together nicely. Aside from the fact that your tang is so low, it's not centered.
I have a few ideas.
Make sure they're ideas that are gonna work. Right here, you've got a major issue. I mean, this is the weak point of the whole knife right here. And you've got a very wide open seam right here and another one right here. So I'd be concerned if I went and smacked this blade on the table right now, I'd snap it right now.
All right, Brian, right off the bat, that looks like the shape we asked for. Good job in getting the profile of a K-bar knife. Moving forward, though, I'd like to see this not just look like a K-bar, but perform very much like a K-bar should.
All right, Alex, you're up. Please present your work to the judges.
All right, Alex, you got a nice profile here. You got a lot of blade. Your blade is kind of going like a snake in the water. Not too bad. You got enough to clean it up. I'd like to see this evened up a little bit more. This almost looks more like a buoy fighter than a K-bar.
Okay, I like the shape, but again, it's that buoy shape as opposed to a K-bar shape. The biggest issues that I see are 1, 2 is right about here, and 3. There are 3 cracks. They're there, and they're deep. We'll really have to deal with those.
After examining your weapons with the parameters in mind, the judges have decided you are all moving on to the next round. Your weapons will now be put through a series of 3 tests. Up first, kill test. Doug?
To see what kind of lethal damage your weapon will do, I'll take your glaive gizam and deliver thrusts and slashes on this deer carcass. Nick, you're up first. You ready?
Guess so.
Let's do this.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm just excited to see what's gonna happen. I'm hoping this is the only big dead animal I have to deal with today.
First up, right here on your edge, it picked up a chip. On another side of this, you can feel where the edge also rolled. But this weapon is sharp. On the initial thrust, it's got a geometry right there that penetrated deep into the carcass. Your edge right here. On slashing, it lacerated easily on the side of this deer carcass. On the third cut, the weight of this weapon is so balanced that it's easy to lacerate all the way through. Your weapon will kill.
Thank you.
All right, Alex, your turn.
His seems to do really well. It stabs right through, it slashes real nicely, so I'm excited to see what mine does. And like a little bit like throwy-uppy, like to right there.
All right, Alex, your tip is sharp enough to lacerate all the way through. On the slash of this edge, it's lacerated easily on the side rib of this particular carcass. On the wide swing, it did break half of the spine off. It is, as you can see, a little bit on the wider side. And with a heavy weapon like this, a wide handle can make it hard to control.
Yeah.
But the most important thing, it will kill.
Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, it's time for the strength test, the pike chop.
That was intense. I wasn't ready for that.
So to test the strength and durability of your weapons, including the hook on the back, I'll be pushing these pikes up into position, then chopping at them with the blades. All right, Nick, you're up first. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Nick, it doesn't look like your weapon took any more damage to the edge. The weight of your blade is very nicely balanced. It's a good design, definitely a strong blade. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Alex, you ready?
Yes, sir. I'm in and out of, I think I got this, to, I have no idea what's gonna happen. So I still feel I got a good shot. I think I'm still in the running. Kick ass. Don't break it. Be nice. That was brutal, dude.
First off, your blade did take some damage here. They're very small chips and rolls. Your flanges here are just wide enough that when I pushed forward, I managed to grab 2 rows of pikes and push them back at the same time. Balance is nice on it. The shaft is pretty wide. It's not too big, but it's right on the outside edge of what's comfortable for my hand. But everything held up, everything's solid.
Thank you.
Because Alex's blade picked a couple of chips up, we're really even closer to even at this point.
Nick, Alex, you've both done an incredible amount of work on your finale weapons. However, there can only be one Forged and Fire champion, and that champion is Nick. Congratulations, you are our next Forged and Fire champion. Alex, unfortunately, your weapon didn't make the cut. David Baker's gonna tell you why.
Alex, you both brought us beautiful weapons. Both your weapons took damage. It really came down to that large handle and that forward weight, and it's that fine a point that's sending you home.
Alex, please surrender your blade.
So the final judgment, I am not the Forged and Fire champion. It's definitely a long road to get all the way here, and it is disappointing, but Nick won. He absolutely killed it. He made a great weapon. I'm super happy for him. It was a tight race, so it's been a fun experience, but it's back to work now.
Bladesmiths, welcome to the Forge. All right, gentlemen, this first round of competition is all about the nuts and bolts of making a good blade. That being said, in today's first round, you'll be using this. Nuts and bolts. Your 3-hour forge time starts now.
Setup-wise, Josh has been the most meticulous.
Yeah.
Taking his time, getting everything positioned properly.
The way I normally work is I take a lot of time in preparation because you pay for it later on if you don't.
I'm very excited because I'm really believing that the weld has set, and I'm just hoping that when I reveal the canister, everything worked out just right. I see some bolts and some washers didn't weld up as nicely as I thought, but with further forging, I'll be able to find out if there's a flaw.
Both Chad and John have taken their first couple of presses and decided that they've got it welded enough that they can go with removing those cans.
I start cutting the canister off, and I immediately think, this is way too easy. I've seen it done successfully by other people, and they always seem to have a much harder time at peeling this canister away than I'm having. And I don't think it's because I got the magic bottle of white out.
Well, looks like that can's coming off clean for John.
Yeah, you can't see it, but did they take?
I am so worried that it's not going to be forge welded when I get the canister off.
Wow!
But lo and behold, there's no loose nuts, bolts, or powder. The weld is not holding. I'm getting a little upset.
Damn, I can't get it to temperature.
Chad looks pissed.
Yeah, he is pissed.
You can just see the frustration.
This ain't looking good for all of us, it seems like.
Chad's back there talking to John, and he's shaking his head. And I don't think either one of these Smiths are very happy with their performance thus far.
I did not get welded nearly as well as I thought I did.
Cracking.
I'm frustrated with myself. It's not the worst canister Damascus I've ever seen it, but it does not give me any confidence that I'm gonna be able to turn this into a blade. There was an hour remaining.
No, 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 no! John just quenched his billet and tossed it under. He's gonna start again.
Son of a bitch.
Oh my God, Chad's starting over a billet. The cracked billet can be worked with. I mean, you can draw it out, you can fold it over, you can redraw it out.
I'm just so aggravated. I just have to abandon it and start new. The plan for this one is to let it sit in the forge for a little longer. This time, I don't have to make it look pretty. I'm just trying to get it done.
Now, my plan has shifted from making what I thought would be the ideal blade to simply turning out something that would be considered a blade. I wish I had more time.
Time is speeding very quickly towards zero. And 3 of our bladesmiths abandoned their original cans and went and made new cans, with the exception of Josh.
I'm feeling pretty comfortable because of the progress that I've got.
Josh spent the most time in his setup, and he's the smith who's having the least problems right now.
I want to get the blade profiled with the angle grinder because I know I can work quickly with that. And I don't want to throw sparks at the people that are working next to me. So I direct them into myself. They're harmless.
All right, we got short on fire.
I'm not accident prone, but I've had some whoppers, all self-inflicted. But at least I've got all my digits.
I know I have a lot to grind off, and I just have to go for the quench.
It looks like Chad just quenched. I was not expecting that.
No.
I think Chad feels like he's so far behind at this point that he just needs to get as much done as he possibly can.
Peace ain't hard. I've had a really rough day. I gotta do a second quench, and I just need this to work out for me.
John just quenched, huge fireball over here.
I feel like it's a good quench, but I don't really have time to allow the thing to cool off sufficiently to actually do a file check because I've still got to get a threaded tang on here. And with 20 minutes, I don't have enough time to grind or forge that end of that tang down to the proper size to actually cut threads on it. And I'm nervous because it's getting close to size parameters.
Chad's in the quench again.
All right, Aaron just quenched.
Aaron, please don't catch your face on fire.
All right, Will, I understand. I don't have model hands, I got model face.
Josh has not quenched yet.
So he's the only one who hasn't.
That's right.
Time is running out, and I still need to do the heat treat, and I know I have to thread the tang.
Wow, come on. Josh, you've got to quench that blade.
I'm really worried about a warp, but I just have to quench and hope that it's good enough.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bladesmiths, shut down your machines, drop your tools. This forging round is over. All right, Bladesmiths, the judges have a decision to make. While they do that, I'm gonna ask you to leave your blades on this table and step off the forge floor.
That was rough.
That's terrible.
All right, gentlemen, our bladesmiths have finished their nuts and bolts canister Damascus blades. They should be between 12 and 15 inches long. Let's get into the details. We're gonna start with Chad.
It's pretty darn straight. It's heavy. There's a lot of meat there that he can take off, but it's a clean piece of steel.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to Josh's blade.
Unfortunately, he waited till the end to quench, and he didn't have time to deal with that warp. Not too happy about those threads. They're awfully small.
Let's move on to Aaron's blade.
You can see the crack right here go across. That's telling me that it's already cracked in half. How we hit, and that's the spot that we're going for. It's gonna break off. He would have to reprofile this and redesign the whole blade to make it passable if he makes it to the second round.
Okay, let's move on to our last bladesmith, and that's John.
Most of this, to me, looks like it's cosmetic. If he were to put a peaked spine on this, just bevel these two edges, he'd remove most of these cracks. But it looks big to me.
but they're looking at it pretty good.
I know I'm really close to that overall length limit.
Bladesmiths, before the first round begins, we tell you to pay attention to the details. Failure to meet parameters is a self-elimination. John, your blade did not meet the parameters for this challenge.
John, we have those parameters for a reason, and your blade exceeded our maximum length. That's why we're letting you go.
John, please surrender your blade.
I'm heartbroken. To fail in this way, it's just a really terrible mistake. But I gotta keep on doing what I do, because if I give up after one mistake, bladesmithing isn't for me.
Josh, Chad, congratulations. All you need to do now is defeat the man standing next to you in our final round of competition, in which we send you back to your home forges for 5 days to recreate an iconic weapon from history. A pair of Bognak. Meaning tiger's claw, the Bognak was a ruthless weapon originating from India. While concealed in the hand, it could serve up surprise attacks, resulting in deep gashes that pierced through both skin and muscle. This variation was called a Bishwa Bognak and included a lethal blade that was made to resemble the sting of a scorpion. This design made it a triple threat where it could either thrust, slash, or claw its way into an opponent. One of the most well-known uses of the weapon is recounted in the history of the Maratha Empire, when Emperor Shivaji secretly wore a Bognak and fatally disemboweled his enemy. Good luck, Bladesmiths. We'll see you in 5 days.
Good luck.
Good luck. My name is Josh Prince. I started forging because my younger son wanted me to forge him a weapon for his action figure. So I forged a miniature sword for him. Since then, I've moved on to real blades. I plan to start working on the claws, which is going to be a challenge. I got to work on each one individually. I have to keep them the same the entire time. Now that I've got the claws in, the next step is heat treat. A lot of things can go wrong. I can overshoot the temperature and create problems in the steel, especially at the tip of the blade. Overheating would make it easier to break. If it cracks or warps, I start over again. Oh, it looks like it took a warp. I hope I'm wrong, because I don't have time to start over from zero. Maybe not. It's pretty straight. I don't know if I was seeing things or what. When I quenched the second blade, just beautiful. I can't believe it. I got both these blades through heat treat. They look pretty good. The rest of it is just fine detail work. The thing I'm most proud of are the design elements that I put into the blade. I love the forged black handle and the stark contrast between the handle and the blade. The tiger eye stones really bring the whole thing together as a tiger claw. There's a little scorpion stinger at the back, too.
My name's Chad Hatfield, and I'm a full-time iron worker. Being an iron worker really helps me in the forge because we know a bunch of types of steel. We work with torches, we work with hand tools all the time, so I am gonna win. I want a nice bold pattern, and hopefully at the end of the day, I have the billets done. That turned out beautiful. I'm liking it, claws are even. It's time to get ready for heat treat. There's 5 blades that I have to heat treat on one blade, so it's very difficult. That is a very straight blade. Time for the second one. I'm liking it. It looks really nice. I'm gonna put on the leather wrap for the handles to give it a little extra grip and to conceal the welds that I put on there. I'll test it and see if I like it. I think it'll be sufficient for stabbing. It can take a lot of abuse and also has a sharp edge. That's sharp. I feel really confident about these blades. I can't wait to see them being tested.
Bladesmiths, to see what kind of lethal damage your weapon will do, we'll take your Bognak and deliver multiple slashes and thrust and claw at the spit carcass. Josh, you're up first. You ready for this?
So ready.
To be my tiger claw today, please welcome back my brother, RJ Markaida. All right, Josh. First up, it's comfortable. My 3 fingers in the middle allow me to grasp on to the claws easily and not feel that it's gonna impede my movement with the hand. The clawing is very deep. Your slashes cut deep into this big carcass. Overall, your Bognak will kill. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, Chad, your turn. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, Chad. First up, the handle, it's on the thinner side. There's a little bit of movement there. But the positions where you have the claw is secure. It's safe. They're razor sharp. On the lacerations there, the slicing, it cuts deeply. Overall, your weapon will kill.
Thank you.
Well, RJ, I can see that your fighting skills have not changed since we were kids. You still scratch like a girl. Cat claws. Thank you very much. I hope you had a lot of fun. Next up is the strength test. Ben?
Bladesmiths, to test the strength and durability of your Bognak, I'm going to be clawing and stabbing away at these logs. Remember, this test is all about what happens to your blades, not what happens to the log. Josh, you're up first. You ready?
I'm ready.
Well, Josh, the claws held up very well. There's no mark on them that they've ever even seen a tree. But you lost your tips.
Yep.
The first one went as I started to pry, but the second tip, it cracked as soon as I stabbed in. I like the feeling of these in my hands. They were comfortable to wield, but you can't deny that they're not there anymore. Chad, you're up next. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Well, Chad, you lost one of your tips. The other one was scaring me, but it's in one piece. It held up well. I like that you did Damascus. I like the pattern of it. It's really pretty. Overall, well done.
Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, to test the sharpness of your blades, I'll be clawing and slashing at our Sandman here. Unlike the strength test, this is all about what your weapons do to this target. Josh, you're up first. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right, Josh, these are sharp. You can see these cuts, just clean rakes across the chest. No tearing. I actually like that hook you got. These are definitely cutters. Nicely done.
Thank you.
All right, Chad, you're up. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, Chad, these are amazingly sharp. Each one of those cuts is beautiful and clean. They're very light, very fast. I think you did a beautiful job. These are very nice weapons.
Thank you.
Bladesmiths, what started as a round one nuts and bolts challenge came down to these Bognak. Both of you have put in an incredible amount of work. Unfortunately, in this arena of competition, there can only be one Forged in Fire champion. Chad, congratulations. You are our new Forged in Fire champion. Good job. Josh, unfortunately, your Bognak did not make the cut. Please surrender your weapons.
I'm a little discouraged, a little disappointed, but I'll bounce back.
Chad, congratulations. You are the new Forged in Fire champion, and that's a title that comes with a check for how much?
10,000.
That's right, $10,000. Good job. Please present your weapons to the judges.
I'm feeling really good right now. That's lost for words. Being Forged in Fire champion was surreal. I was able to show my best, and it makes me feel really proud.